Welcome back to Speargrass Forge. If you're new here, thanks for coming, and if you're coming back, thanks for returning. Today, I'm going to be attempting to use my Screwkey Shackle and my attempts at forge welding to make a ball and chain. Stick around.
Singing true, rely, you rely at it. Singing true, rely, you rely at it. Singing true, rely, you rely at it. For we're bound for Botany Bay.
Okay, so just to give a track record of what I've done so far, these are the chain links that I've made so far, from my earliest all the way through to the most recent. So this was my first set, including the initial chain link, which I believe was this one. So this is the first one I ever made. I did heat this up and blacken it because this of course is going to be my chain of the year. And then this was the second link I made, which was a little bit flattened out, and you can still see some of the scarfs in there. That seems to be an ongoing issue. I'm slowly working out how to blend in the scarfs a bit more. This was the third one. The first one I actually ever linked together to make this piece. It came out a little bit dodgy. I think I got the heat, maybe it melted it a little bit, but I mean it's still welded together and still held together. From there I moved on to the second one. Again, still dodgy, still working out the scarves. They weld together, but again they're still a bit ugly. On to the third one, same thing. This one bent over a little bit more than I would have liked, but I worked out that one of the things was I was hitting it too hard during the initial weld. So you know, it still takes me a couple of heats to get it done, but I've slowly been improving the shape, improving getting the weld to set. The scarves are they're still a little bit visible on this one, but as I work through, they're starting to blend in a little bit more, and you know, be a little bit more natural looking. So yeah, so I've made 21 links so far. This is my most recent one. It's probably the neatest of the lot of them. There's still a little bit of the evidence of the scarfs in there, but it's looking much better. Like I said, there's still a little bit of evidence of the scarfs, but the chain itself is looking much better in its actual creation. So I'm going to actually attempt to join these three together. So yeah, join these together, 9, and then 2 links in there to make it 11 to give me an actual length of chain, to say I've made a length of chain. So I'm going to hang this one back on the wall. These are going to set aside. I might join them together to this one later on, and basically it's just been practice. It's been understanding the heats, welding heat, getting to know that period of time, being able to move it and quickly, gently, and it really is a gentle tap. It's a gentle tap together just to get the weld to set. But the way I've been doing it is getting the weld to set, get it back in the fire, get it to heat, then putting it over the bick and trying to blend in those scarfs a bit more to make them a bit more homogeneous. So I'm going to get. I've already made up a couple of length and bent bar. I haven't scarfed them yet, but in order to join these ones together, get them welded into a homogeneous link and get them made into one length of chain. In this, but one really useful resource that I found, I think his name's Jorgen Peterson. I'll link a card just up the top here for his videos on welding, and I found his particularly useful. Now, in saying that, a couple of things that I've come to realise as a beginner in forge welding is it's said a lot. There's a couple of things that really have to be necessary in order to get a good forge weld, from what I've seen so far in my own experience. One is, okay, the scarfing. Okay, this isn't exactly neat. Okay, but it's in order, you know, basically it's in order to bring it over and get the mass in the bar. But when it comes to the fire, it has to be really hot before you put this bar in there to be forge welded. Like, I have a hand crank blower, so I crank that blower to get the forge exceptionally hot before I put it in there. Now there's two things you can do. Now, Jorgen uses a welder's glasses in order to keep an eye on the actual bar and the fire. I thought that was a fantastic idea. I have tried that myself. I've also done it without, just doing it with my unprotected vision. Both work. It's just a matter of keeping an eye on the steel as it goes in. John Switzer of Black Bear Forge says, you know, when the tips become hard to distinguish from the background heat of the high temperature fire, when it's a yellow heat, then, you know, that's about ready. Second tip that I picked up is the initial forge weld. You don't have to really smash on that on the bar. It doesn't need to be massive blows. It's just a couple of light taps on both sides in order to get the weld to set. Then what I've been doing is sticking it back in the fire, heating it back up, bring it back out, getting it set, putting it over the bick, and trying to work out the scarves and work into a homogeneous mass. It is a matter of practice. It's a matter of attempting and keep attempting until you get it right, which is what I've been doing. Don't take my word for it, of course. You know, I'm a beginner as well. So I'm particularly to this. I'm a beginner to this especially. So I'm going to get this heater back up, and I'm going to try and bend it around a little bit more. Another thing I found really useful is trying to get this as round, not chain-like, but round as possible. Helps to work out the scarf a little bit more. I found that since I've been getting this as ring shape as possible, it helps to work out the scarf, and then of course I can make it into the oval shaped link afterwards. So I'm just going to put this back in the fire, clean up this scarf just a little bit more because it's a little bit ugly at the moment, and then going to get back into get into that getting it prepped in order to weld these two pieces of chain together. Right, so I've got that joined together, and the two other links of 3 on there. So now I'm going to get that forge nice and hot before I put this in, and we'll get this, attempt to get this forge welded. So just show you. So it's a little bit rounder than I've been getting before. It allows me to get this over the horn and work it a bit better at different angles. So let's get this fire nice and hot and attempt to forge weld this. I'll just heat the whole thing back up. Now it's welded. Hope you can see that. Now it's welded up. Heat the whole thing back up and we'll turn it in an oval shape to finish off this link. And look at that. Go from one end. We have it done. So that link was this one here. So it looks probably the best one I've done so far. It's pretty. Alrighty, so now I've got that done. Time for the next one. So I'll leave that on the side of the forge just to cool down for the moment while I prep the next link and scarf her up, and we'll go from there. Ugly, but it's welded, so that's good. Okay, so on this one you can still see a bit of the scarf there, but it's welded over the top, welded for the most part, and you can see a little bit of scarf underneath inside there. I'm not sure if you can see it on the camera, but it's inside there, but it's welded, so that's all that matters. Still not the prettiest job. I've still got a long way to go to get these 100%, but for the most part, I now have a length of chain. That looks pretty good to me. That'll do, I think, that'll do. Okay, so now we've got the chain and the shackle attached. It's time to attach it to the ball. Now, this is a 105mm mill ball from a crushing plant out at a mine. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill 2 holes into the top here, and then blind rivet this in. This is just a piece of the 10mm, the same stock that I made the chain out of. I have chamfered the edges, so basically the idea is to heat that up and in the 2 holes, smash it into 2 holes, and hopefully it spreads out and rivets in there. Now, it's not going to be swung on or anything like that, so it shouldn't be, touch wood, shouldn't be too hard, or touch steel. So basically that's what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to mark out roughly where the centre of these holes are on either side. Oh wow. Alright, so this is very hard. And it just took the end off my my centre punch. Okay. I'm just going to mark this up to the centre. Same on this side. And hopefully I can drill that. Let's give it a try. Well, I've got a secondary ball here, which is out of a ballast tank for a ship. See if this works. I tried drilling both of these balls, and my high speed, my hardened steel drill bit didn't make a dent, and that's not surprising considering these are exceptionally hardened alloys for use in crushing rock and mining. So it's not really a surprise they didn't drill. It was an experiment just to see if it would happen. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to use this ball. I'm not going to worry about this one. I'll save this one for another time. But what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to attempt to weld it on. So unfortunately, first plan didn't work. I was going to drill and blind rivet, but I can't get the hole in. Now, I could probably heat it up and try that way, but that's a hell of a lot of ball and a hell of a lot of mass. It weighs at least, I'd say this weighs at least 5-6 kilos easy. So yeah, so I'm just going to have to attempt to weld that. So I'm going to set that up now. Probably might grind a little bit off the top just to make it a little bit nicer. We'll see what happens and attempt to weld it. So as you can see, the ball's now welded onto the chain. It's just a display piece. It's not for actually holding convicts or anything like that, so it's not going to be swung around or thrown about or anything like that. So now I've just got to heat it up and blacken it. So I'll get into doing that, and I'll come back and show you what it's like when she's all complete. Brush off. Hopefully it doesn't bounce out of the way. Here we go, one ball and chain. Would have liked this to actually be riveted in and done in somewhat of a traditional way. Unfortunately, the ball bearing was far too hard, but I reckon all in all she's turned out pretty nice. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed what you've seen, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Check out the links here just for the previous videos in this series, and I'll hope to see you next time. Cheers.